As Elon Musk trolls Bernie Sanders about tax relief for billionaires, do you think it's right that the elites pay less tax than you? And will anyone in power ever do anything about it? Will they? Hello there, you 4.5 million creatures of raw wonder. Today we're talking about tax inequality, power inequality, Elon Musk, Bernie Sanders. When I think about Bernie Sanders, this is what I think. He sounds like he was saying radical outsider stuff that me as a person that's interested in fairness and sharing and all that kind of thing found very appealing and attractive. But the Democrat Party rejected him not once, but twice. Could we be more, I don't know, democratic? We told you last time, no! In fact, I get the distinct impression, and I've had conversations that allude to the fact that the Democrat Party made a kind of decision that they would prefer Trump over Bernie. They'd rather have Trump in government than Bernie win the presidency. You can think whatever you want to think about that. But at the moment, Bernie Sanders is just some mad old ghost uncle in the party haunting it with principles that will never make it to policy. But let's have a look at how this story illustrates those ideas.
Senator Bernie Sanders tweeted out this: "We must demand that the extremely wealthy pay their fair share, period." Tesla CEO Elon Musk, who is worth almost $294 billion, fired back, saying, quote, "I keep forgetting that you're still alive."
Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk sparred with Senator Bernie Sanders over tax policy this weekend on Twitter. Sanders is a proponent of hiking tax for the super rich. Musk, who has the highest net worth in the world today, is staunchly against so-called billionaires' income tax. Wait a minute, billionaire tax. Wait a minute, what is that I am? Billionaire tax. What is that? That is, take some $1 billion. Do I want to lose $1 billion? No. Okay. Rocket. Going up to the moon. Coming back again. Am I the real life Iron Man? I like Elon Musk. Anyone that innovates and stuff, you've got to enjoy the power of the mind, the abilities, the hard work, the ethics, the mentality. These are all things that are kind of interesting to me. But also, surely, if you're going to have a government and a centralised authority and you're going to have such a thing as tax, you want to tax the super rich, don't you? Instead of sort of giving them weird payouts and stuff. I mean, that just stands to reason. Why should super rich elites pay less tax than you? Why should they? You'll get people on from the right going, well, that's actually not true. And when they make those arguments, they always discount income tax and various areas of taxation to make their arguments fly. It is a known fact that the system is set up to protect the powerful. That is what the system does. If you dispute that, you ain't been looking. As ProPublica reported, Musk previously paid a 3.27 true tax rate on wealth growth of $13.9 billion and paid no federal income tax in 2018. 3.27, that's very low. I'd be happy. No one wants to pay tax. I don't want to pay tax. You don't want to pay tax, right? 3.27, oh, I'd love that, wouldn't you? In July 2020, Tesla was worth more than $1 trillion, revealed that it received government aid in response to the coronavirus. As part of various governmental responses to the pandemic, we received certain payroll-related benefits which helped to reduce the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on our financial results, Tesla said. Please, could you help me, Governor? I'm down to my last trillion. I don't know how I'm going to keep the space rockets in the fucking sky at this rate, let alone make electronic cars where you can throw an hammer at it at a big exhibition and the window smashes. I won't be able to make them sort of stormtrooper, smooth-looking robot people for my kids. Look at that one. My kids have only got a couple of fucking robots each. Help us. Have heart, sir. Ever fucking art! It did not specify any dollar amount. Okay. Tesla and SpaceX, also controlled by Musk, have received nearly $5 billion in government aid over the years. The LA Times found that out. When you think of that, you don't think of it as your money, do you? You sort of notice it when it's coming out your bank account or you got to hand it over. You're, oh no, tax bill, shit. Remember who they make you think about? Who's receiving your tax money? Immigrants, poor people, criminals. Billionaires. Oh, that's interesting. You know who's got all the power? Who? People with no power. It stands to reason, doesn't it? It's shivering, huddled, poor people in a fence looking out at you like that. That's who's got all the money, not people whooshing by on a cock rocket. To be fair, the cock rocket isn't Musk. That's Bezos. This section is called Why Don't Billionaires Pay Enough Tax? I've been wondering this. Let's find out. Fundamentally, it has to do with how the US tax system is structured. Oh, it's structural corruption. It's not complicated, says Scott Dyring, a presenter of accounting at Duke University. It better not be, Scott. It's just the magnitude of the wealth is so great that they're able to do things that you and I wouldn't be able to do. That's amazing, isn't it? The wealth is so vast. It's like, oh my God, I can't tax that. It's too big. It's like a big gold mountain. I can barely even look at it. It's like kryptonite. It's like looking at the sun. We can only tax you by looking the other way. Yeah, that's about 3.27. Thank you, Elon. And the super rich often earn the bulk of their compensation in company stock, not salaries. That means they've seen their wealth balloon as markets have set records during the pandemic. Getting compensation in shares has another huge advantage. In the US, stocks are not liable for taxes unless sold. And the rich often don't sell their holdings unless they have to. In fact, they often pass them on to their offspring, who can also hold the stock. Oh, I get it. So when they were setting up like the government and everything, they're like, why don't we, like with stocks, not tax it at all? That way we wouldn't have to pay tax, but everybody else who don't have stocks, they gotta. Rather than sell their shares, the super rich can borrow against their holdings. In effect, they use them as collateral for loans. They have so much stuff that they can convince a bank to lend them the money for their cash flow needs, Dyreng says. So they don't need to have income, they just have assets that back loans. If Jeff Bezos does not sell any of his Amazon shares in a given year, the income tax ignores the 10 billion gains. Did you make any money this year, Mr. Bezos? Sorry, what? I can't hear you over the sound of the cock rocket. You still got that 10 billion. No. And effectively is taxed like a middle-class person making 80 grand a year, wrote Chuck Ma. That's mad, isn't it? So, do you see, we're not talking about, like, poor people. We're talking about ordinary people. 80 grand, that's, like, a good job, isn't it, if you're getting 80 grand a year? But, like, it's not as good as, like, Elon Musk's job. So there should be some sort of, should there? Or just scrap the whole system altogether, which I'm totally down with. But don't pretend you've got anything approaching fairness, if that's what's going on. Okay, David Sirota wrote, Democrats were vaulted into office on popular promises to tax the wealthy, but they are now generating national headlines about their proposal to provide new tax breaks narrowly targeted to enrich their affluent blue state donors. Just as a new survey shows, nearly 2/3 of Americans see the party as out of touch with the concerns of most people. And now the Republican machine is already gearing up to demagogue the issue in 2022. This is, in fact, one of my main points, is like that. All right, the Republican Party, some of you like it, some of you don't. Like, that is meant to be the party of business and all that kind of stuff. So I don't even really think about that. I'm just like, forget all them lot. Democrat Party, meant to be the party of ordinary people. They're making such obvious, not blunders. They have got such entrenched alliances with big business that they can't make the claims anymore. So participate in generating conflict around various issues, along with the other political party who also benefit from this ongoing conflict, because it stops people turning to one another and going, hey, whatever our differences are, they ain't that significant. Basically, we all want to get on with our own lives. Let's forget these mugs and crack on with creating a new system. As millions of voters are being crushed by healthcare costs and high energy prices, and as Democratic lawmakers have abandoned a $15 minimum wage, Democratic leaders are pushing a regressive proposal to allow wealthy property owners to deduct more of their state and local taxes, SALT, from their federal taxes. This initiative, which would provide almost no benefits to the working class, isn't some small tweak. After Democrats gutted their wildly popular initiatives to expand Medicare and lower drug prices, the tax initiative has now become one of the most expensive provisions in the entire Build Back Better legislation. The whole initiative seems deliberately sculpted to hand the American right a weapon to bludgeon the Democrats ahead of the election. While the Build Back Better reconciliation bill would still raise taxes on billionaires, adding SALT deductions to the bill would provide no significant help for the middle class and would result in big tax breaks for the very rich people just below the billionaire stratosphere. First and foremost, a SALT cap repeal is a precision-targeted enrichment scheme for the corporate attorneys, hedge fund managers, business consultants, real estate investors, and other affluent caricatures who host and attend Democratic fundraisers in wealthy enclaves in East Hampton, New York, Short Hills, New Jersey, and Laguna Beach, California. I suppose what is being advanced here by Sirota is that there is an elite cartel associated with the Democrat Party that are not significantly different from any other elite cartel to warrant the pose of being a party of the people. Bernie Sanders was actually trying to address that kind of stuff. Couldn't we change it? Can we actually legitimately reapportion wealth, reorganise society? And I'm always disappointed when ordinary working class and middle class people are like, no, tax, you shouldn't be taxing people. No one wants to pay tax. He's not talking about that. He's talking about super rich elites. There are resources, there are wealth. Now, for me, this sort of stuff doesn't go far enough and it's not addressing systemic problems, but at least it's beginning to address inequality, the core issue that transcends race, class, gender, sexuality, all these ideas, economic inequality. Keep that issue off the table, then the elites, in whatever drapery and livery they're wearing on that 4-year cycle, can continue with their interests. It's not about taxing you more. This is about them paying less tax than you do. For all its rhetorical paeans to hard-hit communities of colour, the Democratic Party, first and foremost, answers to the donor class concentrated in these rich locales. And that donor class covets the return of tax breaks for its McMansions, as do the wealthy Congress people who stand to personally benefit from a SALT cap repeal. The Joe Biden presidency's first year began with the Democrats saying, and at times acting like they'd learned the cautionary lessons of the Barack Obama era. They were pushing initiatives to raise the minimum wage and expand Medicare, lower drug prices, and create paid leave. This year is now ending with the Democrats' poll numbers plummeting as they make headlines reneging on those promises and instead demanding SALT tax cuts for affluent locales. And furthermore, indicting ordinary people as if people are the problem. What's wrong with these people, these maniacs, these lunatics? They must be racist, right wing or something. Well, if your policies do not advance the interests of ordinary people, what right do you have to their fealty? If all you care about is the super donor class, well, they'll be in your pocket, they'll pay for your fundraisers and your campaigning, but do not expect blind alliance from the ordinary people who are betrayed by these changes of policy. But that's just what I think, and who cares what I think? I'm just that man who was in a remake of Arthur. Hit me up in the comments below with what you think. Tell me, am I right, am I wrong, am I missing some nuance? What do you think about all this? Sign up to my Awakening Side channel so you can meditate, keep your head clear. Personal change will be the beginning of any authentic and real challenging change. Look at that video, it's probably even better than this one. Please subscribe to my mailing list so I can stay connected with you, and come and see me live if you're in the UK next year, because I'm all around the UK. Most importantly of all though, stay free.